Today's soap is inspired by the state of New York, abbreviated NY. It is the 11th state to join the Union. Back on July 26, 1788, New York's nickname is the Empire State because of its wealth and variety of resources. Their motto is Excelsior, which is Latin for ever upward. Citizens of New York are referred to as New Yorkers. So for the soap, we are going to be using the colors blue and gold because those are their state colors. Their state fruit is apples, therefore I am scenting the soap with green apple. And their state plant is the lilac bush. The soap is going to have a particularly special ingredient. This is some lilac infused olive oil. This has been infusing for a very long time. I would have to go back and look when I made this because there's a video of me making this and it is the same olive oil. Why infuse olive oil with lilac buds? The world may never know. We are making this New York soap with some lilac infused olive oil. Today I am including the lye mixture. Here we are measuring our lye. Well, now I'm sure you're asking me, how was New York named? Well, New York was named by the British, of course, to honor the Duke of York and Albany, the brother of England's King Charles II, when New Amsterdam was taken from the Dutch in 1664. And now I am doing the thing that we are warned never ever, don't ever do this, which is adding the liquid to the lye. Yep, here I go. Let's see if something terrible happens. New York became the name of the state and the city. However, the capital of New York is Albany. So let's have a look at their state flag. The shield displays a masted ship and a sloop on the Hudson River. These are symbols of inland and foreign commerce. It is bordered by a grassy shore and a mountain range in the background, with the sun rising behind it. The shield has two supporters. On the left is Liberty, with the imagery of a Phrygian cap raised on a pole. Her left foot treads upon a crown that represents freedom from the British monarchy that once ruled what is now New York as a colony. Well, I'm still alive after mixing the liquid into the lye. Now, let's measure out my lilac-infused olive oil, which we've learned has been infusing for almost 2 years. I am straining it for, I think, would be obvious reasons. I don't want lilac buds to actually be in the soap. On the right is Justice, wearing a blindfold, representing impartiality, and holding scales, representing fairness, and the sword of justice. And I'm going to go ahead and strain the rest of the olive oil out of the lilac buds, and off camera, I'm just going to let it set upside down and get every drop. A banner below the shield shows the motto Excelsior, which we learned is Latin and commonly translated as ever upward. And now for some extra straining footage, let's strain the lye water. Now we're going to put a little bit of olive oil in each of these measuring cups because I'm going to disperse the mica into this olive oil so that it mixes in better with the soap batter. I'm using yellow vibrance and blue vibrance. And now one of my favorite parts about these state videos is listing off these symbols for the state. New York's colors are blue and gold. Their state bird is the eastern bluebird. Amphibian is wood frog. Here is my fragrance oil, green apple from Crafter's Choice. Their insect is the 9-spotted ladybug. Their dog breed is the working dog. That's not really a breed, but type of dog, I guess. Their state fish are the brook trout and the striped bass. State flower is the rose. State mammal is the beaver. I'm going to attempt to pour approximately the same amount of soap batter into each color. And their state plant is the lilac. Their state reptile is the common snapping turtle. State shell is the bay scallop. Their tree is the sugar maple. They have a fossil, which is the sea scorpion. That sounds scary. Their state gemstone is the garnet. Their state muffin is the apple muffin. And now we pour one on each side so that the blue and the gold are separate. Their state fruit is the apple. Their state food is yogurt. Their state beverage is milk. And their economy is built on milk and dairy products, cattle, cabbage, cucumbers, green peas, onions, snap beans, squash, sweet corn, tomatoes, apples, grapes. Hey, limestone, salt, sand, gravel, wollastonite, garnets, and zinc. And on top, the trusty infinity swirl. One of my favorite ways to finish off the top of a soap. It's been 14 hours. No, can't be that long. 12 hours? 12 hours, I think. It is the same day. I made this at 9 and it is 7. So that is not 12 hours. That is 10 hours. Lovely. So when I make my state soap videos, something I like to do to make it even more my own video is I like to include referencing a movie that takes place in the state that we made our soap. Cut that kind of thin. I cut that a little thin, but that's all right. And the movie that I picked for New York is Ghostbusters, 1984. Ghostbusters stars Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Harold Ramis. Ooh, isn't that pretty? Oh, I love that. That's lovely, yes. And these three main characters try to start their own small business, just like me, except they are wanting to be ghost catchers. Oh, look at that ring. That is a gel ring. That's probably the smallest gel ring I've ever seen. I guess I'd have to say that the Ghostbusters is my biggest inspiration for starting my soap making business because, you know, they could start their own business. I can start my own business. Just kidding. After my outro, I like to include at least a 10-second, no more than a 10-second clip from the movie. I am very happy with our New York soap. What do you think? I think I need to work on not allowing so many bubbles in my soap batter because you can see it. You see all those little spots? Those are from bubbles from my soap batter. I think I need to replace my stick blender because it is really pouring bubbles into my soap batter and I'm just letting it. So I think I need to replace it with a new one. The scent is lovely. The green apple fragrance oil is very good and I do recommend it. It doesn't discolor, clearly. It's been several days since I made this soap. So my question for you, my viewers, who are so kind to still be watching, have you ever been to New York? I have never been to New York. I have not been that far east. And when it comes to traveling locations that I want to go, most of them are actually west. And the reason for that is mostly because the traffic gets very heavy the farther east you go. Unless you make it all the way west to California into Los Angeles and San Francisco, then it gets very, very thick too. But I would love to go at least visit New York once in my life because New York is a pretty important state for America. The rest of the world thinks that New York is what America is because of movies and TV. A lot of things take place in New York. So when I say goodbye here, I'm going to show you a shorter than 10-second clip of Ghostbusters because something that I enjoy besides soap making is movies. Therefore, I decided I wanted to intertwine another hobby that I enjoy into these state videos and find those movies that somehow relate to each state. So a shorter than 10-second clip of Ghostbusters is coming up. After that is New York's state song. Now, up to this point, the state songs have been pretty traditional in their presentation. They're pretty traditional sounding, and the lyrics are very meaningful and full of symbolism sometimes. But when I was searching for the song for New York, it's just called I Love New York, which, surprise, that's like the slogan for New York is I Love New York. The song I Love New York was written in 1977 by a man who is famous for his advertisement jingles. He was good at writing advertisement jingles. And I don't want to hurt the feelings of any of my New York viewers, but this song sounds like an advertisement jingle, and the lyrics are very shallow. I mean, New York, I'm sure, is fantastic and is special and is a great place to go to and is unique and all of that, but the lyrics like have nothing to do with New York as why it is an important state to the country. Like, what does it bring to the country besides its specialness? So I apologize if I have offended the feelings of any of my I Love New York theme song enthusiasts. We're all different, and apparently a lot of people like this song. I think I've gone on long enough about the song. So if you would like to listen to the song, that is how the video is ending. I don't come back at the end to say, wasn't that great? So if you'd like to hear what the New York State song is, just so you can stay, I'll have the lyrics there for you so you can read how they are. And I'll see you for the next soap video. I hope you enjoyed this one and maybe learned at least one thing. If you did learn something, you know I'd love to hear it. So see you next time.
It's right here, Ray. It's looking at me.
He's an ugly little spud, isn't he?
I think he can hear you, Ray.
Don't move.
Nobody can compare it. It's winning place and show, you know. New York is special.